Welcome to The Explainer. So if you've ever felt completely intimidated by Wall Street jargon or, thought you needed to understand advanced calculus to master your finances, go ahead and take a deep breath, because mastering your money, it's really not about running numbers through some massive supercomputer. It's actually about understanding human behavior, your behavior. Today, we're diving into the work of MIT financial economist Andrew Lo to totally decode the human side of finance.
Okay, let's look at our roadmap for today. We're going to break this all down into 6 highly manageable pieces. First, the math myth. Then, moving money through time, the human emotion problem, the adaptive markets hypothesis, AI and financial advice, and finally, playing the long game.
Section 1. The math myth. Finance is a language, not a calculator. So we're going to shatter this illusion that you have to be a total STEM genius to understand your money. And honestly, there's no better way to do that than looking at Andrew Lo himself. He's a world-renowned MIT finance expert, right? But he actually struggles with numbers. He was diagnosed with dyscalculia, which he calls the mathematical equivalent of dyslexia. I mean, despite going to a specialized STEM high school, he literally could not memorize multiplication tables. But in college, he met a friend who was incredibly articulate but terrible at basic math. And that's when the light bulb went off. Actually, it completely shifted his perspective. He realized finance isn't a calculator that you're either wired for or you're not. It's just a language. It's a learnable language about moving resources around. And once you replace all those intimidating numbers with core concepts, it just clicks. Which leads us nicely into Section 2, Moving Money Through Time, Simple Analogies for Everyday Money Management. Now, this concept is an absolute game changer for day-to-day money management. We really need to stop compartmentalizing our budgets and start looking at finance as a flexible, almost magical tool for time travel. Seriously, time travel. When you borrow money for a car or a house, you aren't just getting a loan. You are literally pulling resources from your own future right into your present. And on the flip side, saving for retirement, that's just sending a financial gift to your future self. Framing it this way totally changes how you make daily decisions. It stops being about restriction and it starts being about control. You get to decide which version of you, present you or future you, actually gets those resources. Moving on to Section 3, the human emotion problem, why market changes trigger our worst decisions. So, if the concepts are actually that manageable, why do we mess up so often? Well, unfortunately, as Homo sapiens, we are fundamentally hardwired to make terrible, panicked financial decisions the second our environment shifts. Let's look back at a terrifying micro-narrative most of us lived through, March 2020. The global pandemic hits, and the stock market completely nosedives. It plummeted by a shocking 30% in a matter of days. 30%. If your life savings were tied up in that market, it felt like a literal existential threat. Our evolutionary alarm bells were absolutely blaring, and human emotion just took the wheel. And the cost of that emotional glitch? It's staggering. Look at this timeline. Mid-March, the market crashes. Driven by pure, unadulterated panic, so many investors pulled their money out and went straight to cash. But because they were reacting emotionally instead of logically, they hesitated way too long to get back in. By mid-June of that same year, the market had completely rebounded. The people who panicked, they totally missed the recovery. As Andrew Lo points out, if you had literally just ignored your portfolio, maybe taken a 3-month vacation off the grid, you wouldn't have even noticed a difference. Doing absolutely nothing would have been the vastly superior financial strategy. Crazy, right? Let's look at Section 4, the adaptive markets hypothesis, when human behavior breaks the logic. So, to explain this wild reality where doing nothing beats active panic, we have to talk about Andrew Lo's groundbreaking theory. For the longest time, the financial world leaned on the efficient market hypothesis. This is the idea that markets have this beautiful, flawless logic. They perfectly reflect all available information, meaning prices are always rational. And hey, most of the time that's true, but it's missing a huge piece of the puzzle. Lo's adaptive markets hypothesis bridges that gap. It accounts for the times when that beautiful logic completely breaks down simply because our emotional human reactions overwhelm the rational data. The markets adapt to our panic. Recognizing that the market isn't a flawless machine, but rather a system driven by highly emotional humans is absolutely crucial to protecting your wealth. All right, Section 5, AI and financial advice. Can ChatGPT plan your retirement? With all these emotional blind spots, you're probably thinking, okay, can I just use ChatGPT to bypass my own irrationality and plan my retirement? Well, Andrew Lo's immediate answer is not yet. And it all comes down to fiduciary duty. A fiduciary is someone legally bound to look out for your best interests above and beyond their own.
Current large language models just cannot act as a fiduciary. And that is incredibly dangerous when we're talking about retirement. We might be great at saving up, but spending in retirement, knowing the exact rate, the timeline, the right products, that is highly complex and requires profound trust. And AI simply doesn't understand your deepest financial fears or your job insecurities the way a human fiduciary does. But don't write AI off completely. You absolutely should be leveraging it right now to help think through your future. You can ask AI to identify major retirement issues, or brainstorm constraints, or even map out timelines. But here is the golden rule. Never ever delegate the final financial decision to an AI. Always check for AI hallucinations, when the system just confidently invents fake information, by verifying everything with human experts. Talk to your financial advisor or even financially savvy family members. Get a second and third opinion, exactly like you would if you were getting medical advice. This actually feeds right into Lowe's advice for counteracting our own irrational tendencies. Step 1, you have to recognize that you have emotional blind spots during a crisis. Acceptance is key here. But step 2 is where it gets really interesting. Use your evolutionary gift of abstract thought. While you're calm, run abstract what-if scenario analyses in your brain. Actually, you can use AI to help generate these. Ask yourself, what if the market drops 20% tomorrow? Can I actually afford to wait 5 years for it to recover? By pre-planning these scenarios when you aren't actively panicking, you effectively short-circuit that emotional response when a real crisis hits. Which brings us to our final section. Number 6, playing the long game, the compounding power of early choices. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to emphasize that the financial decisions you make early on, like even in your 20s, they compound over 30 or 40 years. It's exactly like your physical health. Bad habits as a teenager catch up to you in middle age, and for sure, the same is true for your money. But the ultimate lesson in playing the long game, that actually comes from Andrew Lowe's own mother, Julia Yao Lowe. She was a Chinese immigrant, a single mother raising 3 kids in New York City. She was actually trained as a lawyer in China, but she sacrificed her career to do secretarial work just so she could put her kids through school. She focused entirely on the longer game instead of short-term issues. She endured daily struggles so her children could thrive decades later. It's such a poignant reminder that finance isn't just numbers on a screen, It's about the deeply human sacrifices and the long-term visions we hold for the people we love. We've covered a ton of ground today, from breaking that math myth, to time traveling with our money, to protecting ourselves from our own evolutionary panic. So I want to leave you with this final provocative question. How are your own emotional reactions secretly controlling your financial timeline? Think about your blind spots. Run those what-ifs, because finance is undeniably human, and mastering it, well, that means mastering yourself. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope you're leaving eager to decode the human side of your own money.